Hi, my name is Jendra Jarnagin. I'm a director of photography, Eastern Region, Local 600. This is my 15th time at Sundance. I have been coming since 2005. Once I came for the first time, I said, that's it, I'm coming every year. I'm hooked, and this is the most important thing career-wise in terms of payoff for effort to put into coming here and the return on investment of time and energy of the people that you have access to being here. This is my first time back since 2020. I'm very excited to return because it's such a big part of my life. And it's also interesting being in a new place career success wise, whereas I'd been here, coming here for so long, just sort of hustling to get an opportunity in independent film. And now that there's a, slightly more impressive answer to, have you shot anything that I've heard of? Now I'm more like, no, but I still want to do indies. So I'm afraid people will think with the TV credits that they can't afford me or that I wouldn't be interested in their independent films, and I still very much am because I love independent cinema so much. Part of what I love about coming to Sundance year after year is all the people that you run into that you don't even know that you're gonna see here, and how the fun the community spirit is here, and part of that is meeting directors and producers, but there's a great fun part of that of connecting with other DPs as well. So this week I've been hanging out with Oliver Bokelberg, who's a buddy of mine that I, haven't really got to spend very much time with. We're gonna go skiing on Thursday. I'm gonna go see his film. Always enjoy hanging out with Nancy Schreiber, who, like myself, comes to Sundance quite regularly, so kind of expect that I'll get to some people you expect you'll see year after year. There's definitely like a diehard Sundance contingent that's passionate about Sundance the way that I am, and then sometimes it's random people coming through whose movies got selected this year, like Oliver. And I met a DP at the SAG Indie Brunch this morning, who shot a film that someone I had never met, and instantly followed each other on Instagram. And then I saw that he says in his little Instagram bio that he's a ICG member. So I was like, are you coming to the ICG party? And he missed even knowing about it. So I've gotten to connect with a lot of DPs this festival. That's been really fun. A lot of the indie projects that I shoot are low budget or under-resourced, so I very often will use that opportunity to lean on some of the relationships that I have with vendors and manufacturers to try out some new gear, get some loaner gear, very often when companies are interested in giving you loaner gear, it's because it's new equipment that they want to do some PR for in return for letting you use their stuff. And of course, we're always interested in new gear. So when I do indies, I'm often thinking, what haven't I used yet that I could get some time on learning and getting under my belts on this particular project, whether that be a new camera or some lenses I haven't used yet. And oftentimes I get more notice on an indie film in terms of the timeline of being hired, that I have time to start thinking about gear and doing some testing on my own, whereas I've done like TV shows or whatnot where you get hired so last minute. It's like I have too little time to get ready for this project for me to worry about like trying a camera I've never shot before. I'm gonna remove something from the equation and just use something that I'm familiar with, so that I'm comfortable with. I like to use the indie films to be able to expand that and get comfortable with more new kinds of gear. One of my most memorable Sundance moments that's really been the most fruitful for me was cementing my friendship with Mark Ruffalo. I attended a talk that he was giving at one of the lounges about environmental filmmaking, and I'm an environmentalist, and I had worked with Mark a few times in the past as an electrician and had like a few like loose connections to Mark that I'd seen him from time to time. But this lounge was like so personal and small and intimate, and he stuck around afterwards and was chatting with people and was very approachable. And coincidentally, I had been talking to a producer who was working with companies that had brand money that were looking to fund environmental films and nonfiction short form environmental projects, and Mark was specifically talking about developing that. And then we stayed in touch. And then he had a project that he was involved with. There was an oil spill in Sri Lanka, and he wanted to send a film crew. So he did a whole fundraiser project and asked me to shoot it. So I've done things with him where he's called on me directly to do, nonprofit, volunteer, environmental filmmaking projects, and we've stayed in touch throughout the years, connecting around our shared love of wanting to do things to help with the environmental causes, and that all came about because of a Sundance moment. So I live in New York, and I've been shooting for close to 30 years, and I spend a lot of time in LA. I consider myself bi-coastal, so I have a lot of friends in LA who have lost their homes, and I have a lot of friends in the strange limbo where their homes are technically still standing, but they may as well not be. It's uninhabitable, and all of their stuff is ruined and poisoned. And I've found it interesting as a non-Angelino that has a strong relationship with Los Angeles to try and explain to non-Angelinos like the scope and impact and lengthy road ahead. I think a lot of people who don't live in Los Angeles don't understand how big an impact this has on the entirety of the city, and they might just think of it as isolated pockets of devastation and the city's identity and how much everyone is hurting. And I'm gonna cry. Just the pain and the sadness and just how big a deal it is, I think is hard for people to understand who are not in California. So everyone in the film industry certainly has a relationships and also just how tough it's been for our industry the last few years, and how much people have been hurting financially with the lack of work, and then to have this on top of it is just our sympathy and our empathy and our heart goes out. We feel a part of that community as well. The New York entertainment industry feels a connection to that community as well, and just hope that yes, I want the work to return to all of us, and yes, I want the work to return to New York, but it's more important that the work return to Los Angeles.